Okay, guys, welcome back. I hope what we talked about in class was not too traumatic and that you are ready to move on to this next idea. So, we talked about arithmetic sequences in class, and now we're going to talk about geometric sequences. And really, the only difference is that a geometric sequence is a pattern of numbers where you multiply by a constant that's called the common ratio, and that is signified by the variable r. So in arithmetic sequences where we added the common difference, now we are multiplying by the common ratio. So what is the common ratio? Let's figure out how to find it. What is the common ratio in this sequence? 8, -4, -2, 1. Well, I'm sorry, 8, -4, 2, and -1. How do we figure this out? We figure this out by dividing backwards. So -4 divided by 8 would be -1/2. 2 divided by -4 would be -1/2. -1 divided by 2 would be -1/2, so on and so forth. So that's how we find our common ratio. We divide backwards back into the preceding term. Okay, or the succeeding term? You know what I mean, the one that came before. Okay, so our formula for the geometric sequence is a sub n equals a sub 1 times r raised to the nth minus 1. So what are these variables representing? It's really the same thing that we were talking about with arithmetic sequence. A sub n, that's going to be the last term in the sequence, or the specified term. Specified. You know that I'm no good at the spelling. Okay, a sub 1 is always the first term. Excuse me. N is going to be the number of terms. And R, we just talked about, is the ratio, the common ratio. Okay. Ration. What is this? War times? Common ratio. There we go. You got it. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. When we're talking conceptually about what these things stand for, it doesn't make any sense. So let's actually put some numbers on the paper and get a handle on this. Find the nth term in the geometric sequence given. A sub 1 is 4, R is 3, and N is 9. So the nth term just means that a sub n we're still going to use as a sub n. That's our variable that we're looking for. A sub 1 is going to be 4. The common ratio is 3, so we're multiplying everything times 3. And our sequence that they're giving us has 9 terms total. So we're going to set this up using the formula, just plug and go. A sub n we're still going to say is a sub n. A sub 1 is 4 times the ratio of 3 raised to n minus 1. So that means we've got a sub n equals 4 times 3 to the 8th. 3 to the 8th, according to my handy dandy calculator, is 6,561. Multiply that by 4, and we have found that the nth term in this 9-term sequence is 26,244. Not so bad. You have that formula in front of you. All you're doing is plugging in numbers. It takes a second to realize, like, what do you have and what are you being asked? What is a sub what? Like, it takes a second to just settle yourself. But once you do, you're just plugging in numbers. And if you're taking the SOL, that formula will be on the formula sheet for the SOL. All right. Because it's on the formula sheet for the SOL, I will put it on the exit ticket for this skill, because that's just the kind of sweetheart teacher that I am. Let's look at example number 2. Okay, given the formula, a sub n equals -4 times 3 raised to the n minus 1, find the first 5 terms and the 8th term in this sequence. Okay, so we want 5 terms. That's the n that we're working with. 5 terms. Excuse me. So let's fill that in. A sub n equals, oh, hold on. We're finding the first 5 terms and then the 8th term. All right, so we're looking for a sub 1 equals -4 times 3, 1 minus 1. Anything raised to the 0 power, we know, is 1. So the first term of this sequence is going to be -4. All right, well, now we're going to try for 2. A sub 2 equals -4 times 3, 2 minus 1. I'm going to run out of room here. -4 times 3. So a sub 2 equals -12. We know that our ratio is 3. So if our first term is -4 and we multiply it by 3, that should get us to our second term, which, understanding multiplication, should be -12, and it is in fact -12. So we're heading in the right direction. A sub 3, because we're looking for that specified term. I want the first 5 terms. We found the first one with a sub 1, the second one with a sub 2, and we filled in that corresponding number for n. So a sub 3 is going to be -4 times 3 raised to the 3 minus 1, so -4 times 3 squared, -4 times 9. A sub 3 equals -36. Is -12 times the common ratio of 3 -36? It sure is. This is going along swimmingly. A sub 4 is what we're looking for. -4 times 3 and 4 minus 1, which is -4 times 3 cubed. We know that 3 to the third is 27. So a sub 4 equals -4 times 27, which is -108. I really am running out of room here, aren't I? Okay, we're going to squeeze this one in here. A sub 5 equals -4 times 3 raised to the 4th. I know it's to the 4th because it's going to be the nth term of 5 minus 1, which is 4. I'm skipping the step of writing it out in favor of saving space. A sub 5 equals -4 times 81. And so a sub 5 equals -324. So let's go back and check this. We got 108 for a sub 4, and we had -36 for a sub 3. So -36 times 3 is in fact -108, and -108 times 3 is in fact -324. So that's great. And you know what? Once you find the first term, we really could have saved a lot of work. Well, if we know the first term is -4 and we know the common ratio is 3, I don't necessarily have to do all this. I can just keep multiplying by 3. I also need the 8th term in this sequence. So that's going to give me, I'm going to squeeze it in over here, a sub 8 equals -4 times 3 raised to the 7th, because our n value is 8, and 8 minus 1 is 7. So 3 to the 7th is 2,187. And that's going to give us a sub 8, -8,748. So quite a bit of work, but still nothing that's going to leave our brains totally fried. All right, we've got one more problem down here. Find 2 geometric means between 4 and 5,500. Whew, okay, that was a big gap. 4 and 500. So we remember from earlier in class, we can set this up like this to make it visually a little bit easier. My a sub n, my last number in this sequence, is 500. My a sub 1 is 4. My total number of terms is 4. And my ratio is what I'm looking for. That's my variable. So I'm going to use the formula. A sub n is 500. A sub 1 is 4. The ratio we do not know, raised to n, which is 4, minus 1. So that's going to give us 4 times r cubed. 500 equals 4 times r cubed. Well, how do I get, I need to solve for r. How do I get it by itself? I'm going to divide this by 4 and divide this by 4. And I've got 125 equals r cubed. Now I need to take the cube root of 125 because I'm going to take the cube root of r cubed in order to undo the cube. Taking the root of something is the inverse operation of that exponent. So that means that 5 is our ratio. Now that I know that 5 is our ratio, I can come back and multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 5 is 100. Does it work? 100 times 5 is 500. We did it. All right, guys, that's geometric sequence. You just have to follow the formula and remember that you are multiplying instead of adding. That's what makes it different from arithmetic. If you have any questions, pause the video, rewind, and rewatch. Otherwise, we're going to practice this together as a class as well as individually tomorrow before you have that exit ticket. All right, guys, great job.